I have to comment on something that we just ran out of time for yesterday. This asinine notion that everybody except Donald Trump in January and February knew how severe coronavirus was or had the potential to be, and that everybody in the world was taking proper precautions except our moron president. Joe Scarborough on his program, Morning Joe.
We've heard, Zeke Emanuel, that nobody could have seen this coming. The fact is everybody saw this coming. Everybody saw this coming in early January.
Oh, really? Really? Because I have here a montage of Democrat leaders, most of them in the American epicenter of the virus, New York City, saying in early February that coronavirus was no big deal.
The risk to New Yorkers for coronavirus is low.
This should not stop you from going about your life, should not stop you from going to Chinatown and going out to eat. I'm going to do that today myself.
Come to Chinatown. Here we are. We're, again, careful, safe, and come join us.
The Department of Sanitation is ready for Mardi Gras 2020.
We want New Yorkers to go about their daily lives.
There's really no need to panic and to avoid activities that we always do as New Yorkers. We are a hardy people.
There's very little threat here. This disease, even if you were to get it, basically acts like a common cold or flu.
So we're telling New Yorkers, go about your lives, take the subway, go out, enjoy life.
And transmission is not that easy. I think there's been a misperception that coronavirus hangs in the air waiting to catch you. No, it takes direct person-to-person contact.
We also know that if it were likely to be transmitted casually, we would be seeing a lot more cases.
Right, because this is New York, and you're in elevators and trains with everybody all the time.
Yeah, that was New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, as well as health officials in New Orleans, New York City, Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker in there. That was from early February. You might remember Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez around the same time saying, hey, people are so racist and xenophobic because of our racist and xenophobic president that they're not going to Chinese restaurants. People of New York, go to Chinese restaurants. Show solidarity. This turned out to be as stupid an idea as the Italian government urging people in Italy to hug Chinese people to show them that they weren't scared of coronavirus. Whoops. Turns out that those people actually likely were contracting coronavirus because they were traveling from Wuhan, and Italy was an utter disaster. Jerry Nadler, Democratic congressman, was asked just a couple of weeks ago whether President Trump's so-called travel ban to and from China was a good idea in a congressional hearing.
Chairman Nadler, you stated just before that the president appropriately used 212F authority for the coronavirus response, but did not. Oh, you didn't say that?
No.
Okay.
I said he's used it many times appropriately.
Do you think then that it is appropriate under 212F for the COVID-19 response?
Let me, no, I don't, because it's irrational and doesn't help public health.
It is irrational, right? How dare we try to cut off travel from the known virus hotspot? But let's take Joe Scarborough and all the media's second guessers at face value. Let's just say, for the sake of arguments, that back in January, everybody except Donald Trump knew exactly how serious this virus was. I'm going to take you back to one day in January that everybody was focused on. The day was January 15th, and the world was focused like a laser beam on one thing. History was being made right before the world's eyes, and nobody could look away. Democrats from the House of Representatives were walking the articles of impeachment against President Donald J. Trump over to the Senate.
Just the ceremony of it, walking over, delivering the articles of impeachment.
Through the rotunda, through Statuary Hall, back to the House of Representatives.
And just thinking about the history that they're walking through.
A lot of members felt, and they told me as they were waiting, that this was an historic moment they didn't want to miss.
As a student of American history, people are going to be studying this for a long time.
There's a sacramental quality to this. There's a ritual.
I'm so glad Chris used the word ritual, because that's the word that has been stuck in my head about this all day today.
One of the things these senators are going to have to think about is, what do they want us to think about when we look at their portrait,
and some of them might think there will be actual statues that we will someday walk by.
Statues, visions of portraits of senators who would soon convict Donald Trump. It was January 15th, and the world was so focused on impeachment. The media was so desperate to cover nothing but that something else happened. No one noticed. No one paid attention. No one was focused like a laser beam on Seattle's International Airport, where a 35-year-old man entered the country from Wuhan, China. 5 days later, he became the first patient in America to test positive for coronavirus. The world didn't notice on January 15th because the media wanted the world's focus on impeachment. But the real historical moment didn't happen in Washington, wasn't full of sacramental ceremony like walking the impeachment articles over. It was something as mundane as a guy getting off an airport. And nobody, especially not the people who say that everyone was focused on coronavirus then, even noticed.